guys, today I'm here with a review of Vicious by V.E. Schwab, also known as Victoria Schwab. This is about two friends, Victor and Eli, who are in college, and for Eli's thesis he is looking into EOs, extraordinaries, these people with special kind of abilities. They decide to experiment when they come up with this theory about how someone could develop extraordinary abilities, but things go terribly wrong. Fast forward 10 years into the future and Victor is just out of jail and he's on the lookout for Eli. So this was the book that the Little Book Club read back in October, and we did do a live show discussion on the book. This does include all kinds of spoilers, so I'd only recommend watching that if you have read the book. I will leave a link to that down below if you're interested. But let's move on to some of my spoiler-free thoughts. This became one of my favourite books of 2014. It is amazing. It is, I suppose, an unconventional kind of revenge story, but oh my gosh, it was like nothing I've ever read before. The whole premise itself just captivated me. I was so intrigued from the get-go, and I think the structure of the story also really helped with keeping that suspense and that level of mystery as well, because we flip back and forth from the present day and also 10 years back into the past. And in doing this, we slowly learn about how a certain series of events came about and how these things led to what's happening in the present time, and everything just kind of falls into place, but one piece at a time. So I was constantly questioning and constantly wanting to know more, so it definitely keeps you flipping those pages. I love the idea behind creating extraordinary people, but not only that, but how this affected people and actually kind of changed who they are, how that person not only deals with it, but kind of uses it. I also really love V.E. Schwab's writing style. I absolutely adore it. I don't know what it is, I just find it so captivating, but from what I've heard, looking at the discussion threads on Goodreads while we were reading this book, some people weren't such a huge fan of the writing style, or at least a little bit of getting used to, but I definitely think it's worth it. If you have any kind of issue whatsoever with the writing, I definitely recommend you keep at it. Keep at it because, oh my gosh, this story is so worth it. But I think the best elements of this book as a whole were the actual characters. This was my favourite part of the story. So for our two main characters, Victor and Eli, this experiment really changed them as people, but not necessarily in a good way. They both become quite obsessive, but in different forms, and this leads to some extreme and sometimes even awful actions on both their parts. Both of their characters, they're so twisted. They're just kind of messed up, and I describe them both as slightly villainous. There is no clear-cut hero in this story. There's definitely a blur between good and evil, but what I found most interesting was the thought processes behind both of their characters and their reasonings for their actions. That really made things interesting. Because you do learn to empathize with these characters, you kind of learn to understand why they're doing certain things. Even though it's so terribly wrong, you get it, but it's just so wrong on so many levels, which just, and I thought that was just so well done. We're also introduced to some other characters apart from Victor and Eli, and I think my favourite is Mitch, which is quite interesting because he's very different to a lot of the characters. He appears to be quite a quiet character, I suppose, but I really liked his relationship with Victor and how he kind of keeps Victor on track. Honestly, I don't think there's anything else that I can say about this book without kind of diving into some spoilery things, because so much of this book is left to a mystery until later on. So I'm going to end things here. This is one of my favourite books. I highly recommend it, and this is undoubtedly a 5 out of 5 stars from me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I would love to know your thoughts on Vicious if you've read it, so leave your comments down below. Don't forget to check out the live show if you have read the book and would like to hear a little bit more of some spoilery discussions. And I think that's about it. So I will see you guys next time with a new video. Bye!